So some common stereotypes for females that I am aware of are that females should always have like the perfect body type and always be well put together, that they're always supposed to be in the kitchen or at home taking care of the children, always be prepared for guests and company, so having the perfect house, a clean house. Women are bad drivers apparently. They should take care of the children. They're more kinder and more have like a warming personality than men do. Then for men are more superior and they're always more competitive and they should make more money.
So typically the female stereotypes include women don't have technical skills, women aren't necessarily as strong as men when it comes emotionally or physically, women are stay-at-home moms, women don't play sports or know about sports, women aren't typically put in charge, and women are typically bad drivers. Some of the stereotypes for men include that men play sports and know about sports, men don't cook or clean or do the dishes, men like outdoor activities such as hunting and fishing and camping, men enjoy working on cars, and men are typically good at math.
I think for stereotypes of women, they tend to state that they're more nurturing, more compassionate, kind, caring, and sweet. I think it's expected that women are weaker than men. They tend to be more sort of artistically inclined, and they have less technical skills, and they focus more on being kind of creative or dreamers rather than doers. And I think also it's kind of thought that women are more spaghetti-brained, so their thoughts and feelings kind of connect to all parts of their lives all the time. I think common stereotypes of men tend to state that they're more domineering and aggressive than women. They're stronger, they're more physically inclined in things like athletics. They tend to have greater technical skills and be better inclined in subjects like math and sciences. They tend to be better leaders, and mentally they tend to have more compartmentalized thoughts and feelings.
So as babies, parents usually dress their girls in pink. Also, they give them dolls to play with. Usually give them like a kitchen set to play with. So as parents, we teach our females to be more as the girly type and teach them to take care of children as well as cook and clean. Females are known for having clean jobs. Like I said, taking care of the kids. Also, females are more known to be able to sing and dance. Do you want to go with males now? Okay. And as babies, boys are usually dressed in blue because it's a more manly color. Also, they're given toys such as action figures and stuffed animals, dinosaurs, just because it's known as more as being tough. Also, they're taught to be more protective of even their sisters or stuff like that. So men, in general, have the stereotypes of having the dirty jobs, like working on a car or construction work. Also, males are usually known of being in control, but also have the stereotype of being more lazy or messy.
A lot of times it seems like there's certain jobs that women do more than men, or that's kind of a stereotype. So a lot of times you'll see women in the role of a teacher or a nurse or maybe a secretary, and it seems like men aren't doing that as much when there's some other gender stereotype jobs for men, maybe construction worker or even doctor or higher up in certain businesses.
So gender stereotypes I've thought of are typically like men are the breadwinners, when I know many independent women who make money on their own. Men are doctors, women are nurses, and really nowadays it's either way. Another good one is that men are lazy and messy when women are very neat and clean. When if you know a lot of the girls on this campus, go look at their room, it says otherwise.
So some personal examples I can think of is I always did outdoor activities like fishing and hiking. I was always big into sports with my dad and my brother. I've always been taught I need to be strong and never to cry. My mom always did the cooking and cleaning, while my dad always did the outside work. My mom was a teacher, and my dad was a sales manager at a car dealership and always worked long hours.
So a personal experience I have growing up with gender stereotypes would be with me growing up with three different sisters. I always witnessed them always playing dress up or house. Sorry. Well, I was playing with like stuffed animals, or usually playing sports either with my dad or whatever. But also, always being around three sisters, my parents taught me growing up that it's important for me to be protective over them all the time.
So I think I've actually been very conscious of the ways that gender stereotypes have impacted a lot of my life over time. Growing up, I was in a mostly male family. I have an older brother, and a lot of my cousins are male. And in fact, on my dad's side of the family, I'm the first girl in 4 generations. And so that sort of led to me being very feminine from a young age, because I was kind of expected to be, the princess of the family. But as I got older, I sort of realized that the only examples that I had to actually go off of were mostly male, from my brother and his friends, and friends that I made through him in high school, and I had a harder time kind of connecting with other girls. So as I got to know them more, they kind of would make a lot of like jokes about women being less than men, and they sort of fell into a lot of typical stereotypes of being really masculine themselves. And so I think I was influenced by that a lot, to the point that by the time I was in middle or high school, I was what you might call more of a tomboy. I was a lot more masculine for a girl. I focused on sports a lot, and I sort of had this tough edge to me that I thought I had to have in order for them to sort of respect me or want to be friends with me. And I think over time, it took a while for me to be more accepting of kind of having more feminine side, and feeling like that was okay for me. That was an okay way for me to be, and that I could still be respected, and I could still be equal to my male counterparts. And I think over time I just realized that I'm not necessarily this perfect ideal of a feminine girl, but I'm also not completely masculine either, and that I'm sort of somewhere in between. So now I think a lot of my friends know, or they learn pretty quickly, that while I demonstrate a lot of qualities of kind of a traditional girl, liking fashion and Disney and sort of fun things like that, I'm pretty tough, and I have kind of an edge to me, and I know that I'm equally as intelligent and capable of being a leader and doing a lot of things that they are as well.
So some ways that gender stereotypes have kind of personally affected me, or experiences that I've had with them. Growing up, my sister and I, we always played with the Polly Pockets and the Barbie dolls and the Bratz dolls, and we'd always play house or whatnot with the neighborhood kids, and we would always be the mom of the family. But then also I was very athletic, and I was always involved in like multiple sports teams growing up, and I still am prevalent in the athletic field. But then I'd say a way that I actually overcame the gender stereotype would be in high school. Because of me being very involved in athletics, I became very involved in weightlifting, and something that kind of shocked people was that I was actually very strong for a female. I set multiple records at my high school, and I even have a national record for bench press, and many females actually still at my high school are being very successful in the weightlifting world, and women can just be just as strong as men, because I was outlifting some of the men in my high school. So that was kind of a way that I overcame that, and that was a personal experience for me.
So a solution I thought about to help society help with help eliminating gender stereotypes. Included, we can teach children that they don't always have to live and play according to the gender stereotypes that society has given, along with giving children indoor chores such as cleaning, doing dishes, and cooking, along with giving them outdoor chores such as mowing and raking leaves. By doing this, we can teach children to not have such a polarized view of gender and remove them from the defense stage that one gender is better than the other.
When it comes to eliminating gender stereotypes, first I think we need to understand that males and females are more alike and have more similarities than we think. But because of the gender stereotypes, we tend as a society to forget about all those. I believe men have feelings just like women, and women are just as hardworking as men. So a lot of the stereotypes aren't always true. As a future educator, I think it's really important to look at this issue because in class you can't look at those stereotypes on gender and use those in your classroom because it's going to hurt a lot of your students and shield them from showing their true intelligence and strengths. So as an educator, I think it's important to stay away from those and look at gender equality and look at incorporating both male and female into all of your activities in school, and not look at girls as being the quiet, polite ones, and men being the more intelligent and outgoing ones. So I think you need to incorporate into your classroom. It's important to look at gender equality so you can create a fair atmosphere and get the most out of your students.
I think it's important in addressing gender stereotypes that we keep an open conversation about it. Looking at the 5 stages of the IDM model, I think it's important that we make an effort to get to the latter stages, including acceptance of differences. So these can be differences between genders, but also within genders and sexes, and getting to the point where we can adapt to these differences. So this means that once we become aware of this, we can adapt our lives and our relationships and how we function as a society to the reality that men and women aren't such polar opposites and that we shouldn't treat them as such. So I think it's important that we keep this as an open conversation in our personal lives as well as in our workplaces and in our classrooms as future educators.
So a way that we can avoid some gender stereotypes in society and in the workplace is just understanding that gender stereotypes can go hand in hand with ways that people handle conflict styles. So I think that if we look at indirect conflict styles, that there are some people who don't like being confronted or don't like saying or speaking their mind right there at the time. They try to think and process things, and sometimes that can be women, but also men can do that as well. And I think that can cause some problems in places with gender stereotypes. And then also that a direct conflict style, I think of this more with men, but I mean women can do this as well, and it happens with women as well. But you usually go face to face to people. You want to like share your feelings and your thoughts right then and there, and handle that situation at that moment, which is just something that you need to be aware of and understand that in the workplace, if you're a female, you might have to deal with someone who is a direct conflict style. That person might be male, that person might be female, and if you're an indirect conflict style type of person, you just have to understand how to work with that and better that and try to figure out a good solution to that.